Hey friends, welcome to week 10 of the Ditch the Grocery Store Challenge. I took a little break away from YouTube to get caught up on some family things, but I'm excited to be back. I am going to cheat a little bit today though and share something that I have previously shared on this channel. However, it was kind of mixed in a video on a ton of other subjects, and I'm constantly getting asked for this recipe and tutorial, so I thought I would bring it out into its own video and share it with you today, and also so that it can be on the challenge dashboard. So this is how our family makes jerky using ground meat. Jerky is a very nutritious, high protein snack. However, it can be very expensive to buy from the store, and also a lot of the store-bought versions contain things like artificial ingredients, preservatives, or other things that we don't want to be feeding our family. Jerky is also super easy to make, so I'm going to be sharing with you that process today. Now, I usually use ground venison because we are a hunting family, but you can use any ground meat for this same process. If you would like to grab the recipe and the links to the equipment I'm using today, I will link those below in the challenge dashboard. So once you click that link, you'll get access to the dashboard for the entire Ditch the Grocery Store challenge, which lasts all of 2025. It's very nicely organized, and that's just much easier than trying to send you to a bunch of different pages. So once you get access to that, you have access for the entire year, and you can bookmark that page. Okay, here is how and why we make jerky using ground meat. If you're new here and curious what we consider too cold to have fun outside, it was in the negatives in Fahrenheit this weekend. I think the real feel was around -20, -25. So yes, it was gorgeous out and our kiddos did bundle up for a while and go out. But us adults, at least, figured it was a great day to get some meat processing done inside. Our big project for the day was jerky, and we do things quite a bit different than we used to. In the past, we sliced strips of venison and then marinated and cooked that actually in an oven back then. And it was fine, but the reason we made the switch was the texture. Jerky made with ground meat is so much more tender. It doesn't make your jaw hurt to eat it, and the way the flavor is able to penetrate the meat is just so much better in my opinion. It also allows you to use different cuts of meat that maybe wouldn't slice well if you were doing that method. The process is actually very simple, but I will admit that our equipment is what makes it a breeze. Don't worry if you aren't ready to commit to buying all of this equipment yet though. Really, the only thing I would say that you need is a jerky gun. I suppose you could rig something up, but the jerky gun just makes the process so efficient. So we started by grinding our meat. If you don't have a meat grinder, just start with pre-ground meat. We process our deer ourselves, so this grinder that we're using from Made with Meat has been a great investment, and I will link it below. The one tip I have here is to not thaw the meat completely before grinding it. It works better actually if it's still partially frozen. Not hard, you should still be able to break it apart, but not completely thawed and losing all of its juices either. After it was ground the first time, we swapped out the disc to a finer grind and repeated the process. So now we have nice, finely ground venison with no chunks left. Then we made our curing marinade. I'll link our recipe below. It includes curing salt, seasonings, and sauces, and as long as you have the right ratio of curing salt to meat, feel free to play with the seasonings to make it a flavor your family will love, especially when it comes to the spice level. Make sure this gets blended together very well. We are doing a very large batch here, but you can adjust the ingredients to suit how much meat you have. Then we mix the ground meat with the curing marinade. These plastic bins that we are using come in so handy for meat processing, not just for this project, but for everything. After we mixed it in a little by hand, we put the meat into our mixer that is made for this purpose and poured in the rest of the marinade. Of course, you can totally do this by hand as well. We love the mixer partly because the meat is so cold to mix by hand, and if you have a lot of it to do, the mixer will save your hands. Once it is mixed together well, it got put in a bowl, covered, and refrigerated for around 4 hours. It can go longer too, overnight is fine. In fact, I think we started our first batch 4 hours after refrigerating it, but we continued doing more batches into the next day. After it had the chance to marinate, we filled our jerky gun to make strips on our dehydrator trays. Our jerky gun is also from Made with Meat. This is not sponsored, we just love their brand. And then we have an Excalibur dehydrator. We have had it for a few years now and I absolutely love it. I use it for everything from proofing bread to drying herbs to making jerky. I will link it below as well. So once the trays were loaded, we set our dehydrator to the jerky setting, which is 165 degrees Fahrenheit, and then let it go for about 4 to 6 hours. I would say to start testing it at 4 hours, but ours was done at about 5. In order to know that it is done, try snapping it. It should bend a little and then break. If it breaks right away, it's too dry. If it folds in half and doesn't break at all, it's not done. You also want to make sure it has come to a safe temperature internally. There is some debate on what this safe temperature is, so I'm going to refer you to Google for that one. The first batch we made, we did these flat strips using the flat end of our jerky gun. The next batch we did round sticks, and honestly they were both amazing, but we decided we really loved how nicely the round sticks cooked. They were not super dry and yet dry enough to be done, and overall the texture was much more tender, which is a quality I like. I'm not into chewy jerky, but I know that that is the point for some people, so pick your favorite. Finally, when all this was done, we used a vacuum sealer to seal the bags. And I know I've been singing the praises of this brand, but a benefit of this not being a sponsored video is that I can honestly tell you I do not recommend this model of their vacuum sealer. Our first one wasn't sealing well, so their amazing customer service sent us a replacement with no questions asked. Unfortunately, however, we've been having similar issues with this one, so we still love their brand and all of the other items we've ever got from them, but I just can't recommend this particular product. So that's it for jerky. It's so easy, and now we have homemade snacks for a long time. We will keep what we won't eat this week in the freezer. I am so excited for you to try making ground meat jerky sticks. I know that your family is going to love them. Make sure to join me here next week for the next Ditch the Grocery Store Challenge video. And also, I try to put out videos on Fridays on homesteading, homeschooling, and food from scratch. So hopefully you'll join me there as well.